fishy fishy, come fishy fishy to me. Saan bang isda yon? Eh, you, have you seen my friend, my fish friend? This fish, this long, this tall, and this thick. You sure you not see that kind of fish? Oh. This fish, very special. I know you've seen it. It has rainbow colored scale. Very pretty looking fish. You see, this fish I met long time ago when I lived in Cebu City. I was very sick that day. Oh, I opened my cupboards and I have no food. So I decide, because I'm smart girl, I go all the way down to the lake and I took my fishing pole. I sit down at the edge of the lake and I put my fishing line into the water. And then started to move, and all of a sudden, I catch myself a fish. Do you know what I use for bait on my hook? I use green bean. Yeah, I use green bean. I catch myself a fish. Well, I put the fish down and I was going to put him in my bag. When I turned back around, this fish, he stood up and he waddled over to me and he stuck out his fin. I looked down at that fish and he said, "Kamusta?" I said, "Hello." Boy, I must really be sick. So I bent down and I shook his fin. And the fish said, "If you let me go, I will give you big surprise." I said, "You going to give me surprise?" And he said, "Yeah." Well, if you go home tonight, you will find in your cupboard 3 pots of hot food and a very special prize underneath your pillow when you wake up in the morning. I said, "You sure?" And the fish said, "Yeah." So I said, "Okay." So I let the fish swim away. And I went back home and I opened my cupboard, and you know what I find? I find 3 hot pots of food. My friend, he did not lie. And then when I go to sleep, on my table next to my bed, I put my cup of hot soup. And then I go to sleep. And in the morning, I stuck my hand underneath my pillow and I pulled out a big bag of gold. My friend, his very good friend. And I thought I better thank him. So I ran all the way back down to the lake and I called out for the fish. "Here, fishy, fishy, come on, is that to me?" Well, the fish, he swam up to the top and I said, "Ay, salamat for all of the food and even that big bag of gold." I love that fish. He's pretty, but I love that fish. So I said, "What can I get you? I have to give you something because you give me." Oh, then the fish said, "Oh, psst, no, you don't have to go home now. It's okay." And I said, "I insist I give you something. You know, my mama and my dad is looking down from heaven if I don't give you." Well, I went back home and I opened my cupboard again. You know what I find? I find 5 hot pots of food. And then I find at the bottom of my bowl a rainbow colored scale. This fish must give me another surprise. So I ran back down to the lake before it got too dark and I called out for the fish again. "Here, fishy, fishy, come fishy, fishy to me." Well, the fish come swimming up to the top. And I said, "Ay, salamat, salamat, maraming salamat. Thank you for all the wonderful food you gave me." And I find again underneath my pillow 2 bags of gold. Well, I said thank you all the time to him and I said, "Oh, what can I get you?" Well, the fish said, "That's okay. You go home now." And I went back home. I felt kind of bad because I didn't give my fish friend anything. And but before I got home, I was thinking, oh, if I get that fish and I get all of his rainbow colored scale, I could have anything I want. Huh? Good idea. Yeah, because I'm smart. So I went back home and I got a black net and I covered the lake. Well, I sit down there and I wait for the fish, calling out to him. Yeah, fishy, fishy, saan ka isda? Then the fish came swimming to the top, and just before his nose hit the air, I grabbed him in my bag. And then all of a sudden the fish started crying. He says, no, 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 you don't want to do this. Please, please let me go. Well, I look at the fish and I said, no, you are going to give me all of your rainbow colored scale. And he kept pleading and crying some more. And soon he was so tired. And he gave me all of his rainbow colored scales. I held them in my hand. And I let the fish swim away. I was so happy. And I went home. I was doing my high skippy skippy dance. And then when I went inside my small hut, I looked at the scale. And then as the sun was setting, the sun hit those rainbow colored scale. And then all of a sudden it turned to dust. And then I realized what I did to my friend, and I ran all the way back down to the lake. I am calling, here, fishy, fishy, come isda to me. And I waited. No fish. No fish. So ever since that day, I don't see my friend anymore. But you tell me, if you see that fish, rainbow colored scale, yay big, yay high, yay thick, and he talks to you too. Salamat for listening to my story.